Hello, Ryan here, aka Mac, and welcome. So Alpha 3.12 Evocati has begun, and there is a lot to get through, so let us take a look at the patch notes. As always, a huge thank you to all of my patrons and channel members, in particular to my latest patrons, Galactic Warrior Empire. Thank you so much for your support, it is very much appreciated. If you do want to support the channel, all the links are in the description below. And before we get to the leaks, if you want to be in with a chance to win a Mercury Star Runner, make sure you are subscribed to my YouTube channel and comment and like any video that I put out between the 25th of November and the 9th of December to be in with a chance. So as usual, the initial Evocati build does not contain all of the features yet, and they will add to it as they go. Before we take a look at the first patch notes, there are a lot of leaks coming thick and fast, some surrounding the reputation system, in particular with bounty hunting and obtaining licenses for various crime stat levels. So I really hope that they have made some big bounty hunting changes to the missions, making them more engaging and challenging, maybe removing that god marker. There is also more talk of Xeno threat and the missions that go along with that one. There's an image of the constellation Phoenix without a Merlin docked. However, there is no more information on whether docking is making its way in for those ships. There's a lot of talk about a straight-to-flyable ship that is coming in 3.12, being the Origin 400. There's no images at this time, but there is a big list of files which include engineering, the airlock, a bridge with what looks to be maybe 2 seats, an armory, a bathroom, an entrance lift, and a ramp, and a garage, and a toilet, plus a few more. And finally, there are also some files relating to the Titan suits. Now, this doesn't mean that they are coming in 3.12 or even soon, but it is more AI responses to seeing the Titan suit. Like, oh damn, they've got a Titan. Titan coming this way, and what kind of asshole brings a Titan? Now, that is all we have for just random leaks. I will cover all of the leaks as they unfold, so ensure you are subscribed and tick that notification bell if you don't want to miss out on them. So back to the patch notes. The testing focus for 3.12.0 are space station refinery decks, planetary visual improvements, restricted area rework, Lagrange point spacescaping updates, the multi-tool tractor beam, mining UI refactor, ship entry ID, the elevator panel update, and restricted area rework. So let's go through what is new, kicking off with the locations, the space station refinery decks, which we got to see these in work in progress on Inside Star Citizen. There's only a few images right now, hopefully more will come along. Spacescaping Stanton Lagrange point updates, so they're updating all extraplanetary Lagrange points in the PU with improved visuals and the first gas cloud implementation. Again, only a couple of leaked images here, but they are looking pretty damn cool. Very excited to fly around these. Finally, for locations, the Stanton system planetary improvements. It says further improvements to planetary detail and assets, which include a detailed global painting pass with consideration to global climate data, refining how object presets are set up to get more natural and believable reads, introducing some new assets to the biome packs. They've updated the remaining geology assets to the organic shader to utilize the latest features. They've improved cloud layer visuals on planets, reintroduced the acidic biome for Hurston and Ariel, reintroduced the glossy and icy surfaces on Yella and Lyria, and they're saying that they are looking to showcase all these above improvements for release on the planets that are Hurston and Microtech, and the moons Selin, Daymar, Walla, Yella, and Lyria just for this patch. I'm very intrigued to see how much difference all of this makes, especially to see if this cloud cover visuals actually improve the cloud cover. I know it's just a thin layer at the moment before they actually bring in proper clouds, but hopefully they'll look a lot better. For gameplay, the multi-tool tractor beam tier 0 says initial implementation of a tractor beam device that attaches onto the multi-tool, so just like the mining laser, that allows the player to control an object at a small distance without physical contact. Its primary use is that of quickly and remotely moving smaller cargo and other physics-based objects in gravity and 0G, and in 0G, if tethered to larger objects like asteroids, space stations or ships, it can be used as a grapple hook to pull the player towards it. This includes a tractor beam UI that displays force and distance gauge, as well as indications if the tether is close to breaking. Players can rotate a tethered item by holding R and moving the mouse cursor. This is such a cool tool, and I'm so excited that they've got it in now. Hopefully it'll apply to more expansions to the cargo mechanic and hopefully some more missions involving this. But it does kind of pave the way to getting tractor beams on ships, which is very exciting to hear. So ship entry ID, it says this feature adds dynamic augmented reality markers onto a player's display when in close proximity to your ship to aid in entry. Now these contextually change depending on whether the vehicle is landed or in space to show valid entry methods. So very useful for new players or when we get a new ship into the game, but I do kind of like that whole where the hell is the door challenge, so we'll see how this feels. For weapons and items, the Bearing FS9 LMG is implemented, and it says this light machine gun features a full auto mode that makes it ideal for laying down cover fire or holding back advancing enemies. The FS9 is also acclaimed for its ability to maintain accuracy while unleashing sustained fire. This weapon can be purchased at Scutters in Grim Hex. There is no word yet on the Gemini AO3, but I'm sure that'll come in a subsequent patch. So also, elevator panel updates are in. They're replacing the existing utilitarian elevator panel buttons with interactive screens. The restricted area rework for Area 18 and Lawville only, and basically they've removed landing splines from Area 18 and Lawville spaceport and updated the restricted flight area around the spaceports. Not really sure why or what these changes are yet, but we will check them out when we get in game. For gameplay, the mining Ui Refactor has been implemented, which we saw in a previous Inside Star Citizen. This definitely applies to the MISC Prospector. I'm assuming it'll apply to the Argo Mole as well, but we haven't seen that specifically. Countermeasures version 1.1. Now it says with these improvements to Countermeasures gameplay, the amount of deployed countermeasures will play more of an important role in the chance of spoofing missiles. Single countermeasures will be less effective, but players will have the ability to choose how many should be fired with each burst. Different missiles will have varying degrees of countermeasure resilience. Flares have now been renamed to lures, and now have different modes to control how multiple launches work, including launching bursts, which it says you tap H by default, or you can set and launch burst to send out multiple by holding the H button down, and you can increase and decrease the burst size, which is unbound by default. We'll have to figure that out, and chaff currently is renamed to haze. Countermeasures have also had a sound effects rework. Okay, so you can now fire either a burst or a single lure, although single lures sound a bit ineffective, but you can also set how many lures you send with a burst manually. And now it's lure instead of flare and haze instead of chaff. Okay, I think I've got my head around that. So also torpedo attack, counterbalance and behavior. They've done a rebalance of the size 9 torpedoes. They are now more deadlier, with only a few direct hits required to bring down larger ships. The extra damage comes at the cost of speed though, and this I expect is in prep for the Idris. Obviously when we move to a physical based damage system, this will change somewhat, so for now it'll be fine. Head tracking updates, which I'm very happy about as it seems to be broken in and inconsistent in 3.11. They said that they have made a few additions, updates and fixes to head tracking devices to help increase usability for players. The new features are they've added a recalibration button that resets all head tracking devices internally. Obviously this excludes things like TrackHat or TrackIR, but you can set that to the same button if desired. They've added support for positional axis for cockpit and most other ship seats in first person. They've added rotation and position support for external cameras. This is clamped to 1 meter in each dimension. They've added a separate button to enable and disable head tracking on external cameras. This is unbound by default. They've added head rolling for FPS and aim down sights. This is including an option to automatically turn it off, which is nice. They've added a smoothing slider for the forward center dead zone for face wear, and for general fixes for head tracking, the actor's head won't snap from left to right if the head tracking angle is above 180 degrees. All mouse-induced head movements will now be suppressed when head tracking is active, which is a very nice touch. They've removed the internal offset when the toggle is used. It will be using the internal device offset instead. They've reshuffled the menu options for head tracking to make it clearer, extended the available movement range in seats when head tracking is used, and fixed the auto calibrate option. So many very nice improvements there. I'm happy to hear that all of this will make it in, as it'll make it so much better and hopefully more consistent. As I say, it's been a bit iffy of late. So there's a lot of smaller ship input quality of life improvements. I won't go through the list as it's going to be just too difficult to digest in a list, and some of them don't really make much sense. I guess it'll make more sense when we actually get them in our hands and we get into the game. Obviously the patch notes are listed in the description below should you want to check them out yourselves. For ships and vehicles, they've increased the hydrogen fuel tank size of the Nomad and the Mercury Starrunner. Thank you, CIG. I know a lot of people had an issue with that, including myself. We do need more fuel. They've improved the Constellation Andromeda flight maneuverability and accelerations. They've reduced the verbosity of some ship computer notifications and increased the gloss amount on the Hammerhead hull. So there are 21 major bug fixes, some of them being they've fixed the canopy open and close bug, thank God for that one. Weapon sound effects should now play correctly. Ships landed at Lorville and New Babbage should now store correctly. They've fixed rest stop elevators from duplicating, plus many more bug fixes. They've fixed 5 client crashes and 5 server crashes. Again, I've linked the notes in the description below should you want to check them all out. And that goes for known issues as well. There are 13 known issues. I won't go through them here as they appear to mostly be relating to 3.12 specifically. So I'll wait till we're a little closer to a wave 1 before addressing them, as most people hopefully will not even experience them. Again, if you want to check out the known issues, the bug fixes, I suggest reading the patch notes yourself. The link is in the description. So quite a significant initial 3.12 patch with a lot of very important fixes, major fixes in fact, and a lot of new great content. I really hope to get more info as the build unfolds, and I really can't wait to see it all for myself. Specifically the bounty hunting missions, I really hope that they have been tuned to make them more viable. Hopefully they will expand on that a little further. But with that said, I will be covering all the leaks as they happen, so make sure you are subscribed to my YouTube channel and tick that notification bell if you want to be notified when my videos go live. If you can do me a big favour and hit that thumbs up button, really appreciate it, helps the channel out massively. And if you want to talk further about the leaks and Star Citizen in general, do come and hang out over on twitch.tv/supermacbrothers. Again, a massive thank you to my patrons and channel members. It is because of these guys that I get to do these kinds of videos, so I cannot thank you enough. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.